Robs, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, who on earth are you for the people that don't know you, and what is the value that you add to the world?
Who am I? Robyn. I own a company called Vegan Things, and we are an online platform that sells vegan food products, and we deliver across Gauteng.
So now, what on earth gets you to go on this journey in the first place? What leads you? What is the catalyst for throwing yourself into the world of entrepreneurship?
So it is a lockdown business. We started thinking about how we can make vegan products more affordable and more accessible during lockdown. And it all started because we were obviously confined to our homes, and a lot of these amazing local brands that I was very used to purchasing and buying. I mean, on the one hand, you've got to shop from place to place to get everything that you need. There's no one place that sells everything. And on the other hand, I started to realize how different the prices were from shop to shop. Because obviously these little niche boutique health stores are a lot more expensive than your Dis-Chem, for example. And we were obviously a little bit more price conscious during lockdown. And also a lot of these local suppliers couldn't actually supply or reach their audiences, because a lot of the times you find these products at the markets, and obviously those had stopped. So we were just trying to think of a way that we could help these local brands reach a wider audience, and then also help customers find the products that they love.
Yeah, and inadvertently you threw yourself in this whole new world in the form of e-commerce. So how's it going?
It's trial and error. It's a year old in August, which is a great achievement. I'm very proud of that. And we've definitely learned a lot along the way and continue to do so. And yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
You're using the word we. Do you want to tell me who's behind? Like, tell me a little bit about you, the team, the people who work for you. Yeah.
So there's 4 of us, 4 shareholders. 3 of my friends that I started it with, my friends Henry, Lance, and Craig. Lance works from Dubai. Henry and Craig are Joburg based, and then we've got our warehouse manager Brian, who's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, and then you mentioned you got a warehouse.
Yes.
Did you say that?
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about the beginnings of starting and then how it's gone in the last year.
Okay, I actually love this story because I think it's a classic entrepreneur story, you know. I've been to a lot of these talks with all these speakers from all over the world, and they always start their story off with how they had $1 in their pocket, and I was always thinking that was bullshit. Can I swear on this?
You can.
And then it happened to me, and we were in a crunch, and we started this in our garage, and we just had like our fridge and our freezer, and we had a couple of freezers at Henry's one business that was full of products, and we were selling from there. And then we realized we needed to expand and get a bigger space and sign a lease. And you always think an e-commerce site is not going to have these, brick and mortar things, and then it ends up having these brick and mortar things like a warehouse and a lease and a bike. It
really is a whole other world.
It's a whole other thing that we didn't really forecast for, I guess.
Okay, so run me through some of the lessons you've learned then in the last year.
Do a little bit of business planning. I don't know. It's we just hit the ground running, and we were just trying to do as much as possible, and pleasing our customers and being really supportive to our customers was our main goal. And I think we've done really, really well at that. And there's a lot of other things like planning ahead and finances and stuff that we sort of didn't do. And now we're having to kind of step back and get a bit more serious and focused on those kind of things. But it's all part of it.
Welcome to entrepreneurship, and welcome to the perils of small business.
Yes.
It seems to me that the market has really taken to you guys, though, because although you and I are friends, how the show typically works is that people need to be nominated.
Yeah.
And you got nominated probably 2 or 3 times from my immediate recollection.
That's awesome.
Externally, so it was fascinating to me. It's like, I know their business.
I hope that wasn't my mom then.
No one connected to you. It was just so, well, at least not that I know of, but people who, I remember one specific day, a customer, she said to me, a customer of yours, and just said, like, it's really, they've helped us so much, and we'd love to have them on the show. So
that's great.
That's my perception of it. Would you say this to be true?
Yes, definitely. I think we've also pioneered this online space in a way. We were the first online store to sell only vegan products and to provide this kind of platform. And I do see quite a few more like cropping up now. I think we've still got a bit of an edge on all of them, but it's nice to see that we've kind of started this and it's expanding in such a way.
Although competition drives innovation, so it's healthy to have those people there. And I think a really big lesson that I've learned in many spaces over the years is that there's space for lots of people.
Hope so.
I think so. Okay, so talk me through, I mean, I want to keep hearing around about this. What are kind of the plans that you have moving forward with vegan things? Now that you've had a bit of a year, it's almost like data and information. So you've learned a lot. And now what are the plans that you kind of have moving forward? What would you like to project for the next year?
The next year we're going to be opening up a branch in Cape Town. So we'll be able to have
a physical branch?
Well, we have to, it seems, have a warehouse in Cape Town as well to store some of our products. It's just too expensive to have one place in one region and try and courier them. The courier costs are, it just doesn't make sense. If you're trying to send people frozen and fridge items, it's just too expensive. So it does have to be a bit of a, like I said, a brick and mortar kind of solution.
Okay, this is fascinating to me. So run me through a little bit about your customers. How are they enjoying your experience? Are you finding like huge amounts of repeat business? I assume these people who have kind of grown a following and a loyalty toward you.
Yeah, we do. We have about 60% of our customer base are loyal customers, which I think is quite a high percentage. Yeah, we're doing quite well on that front.
And your suppliers must be loving you.
Yeah, I think we've got pretty good relationships with most of our suppliers.
So what would you say some of the things that have held you back in the last year? Have things like, has COVID hurt you, helped you, done both at different times?
It's both. And I think it's also, we're still learning this market, I guess. I mean, when we started, it was a no-brainer that people wanted to get their stuff delivered to them because everyone was confined to their homes, everyone was afraid, no one could really go out, no one was dropping the kids off at school or going to work, so they weren't really passing past grocery stores. And then we found when that sort of started opening up again, it's an outing to go to the spa or to go to Pick n Pay. So I think that was a bit of a dip that we weren't really expecting. And I do think the South African market is we're not really early tech adopters. So like getting people on board with these new kind of technologies, such as purchasing things online, which is all over the world. I mean, in America, it's so normal. In the UK, in Europe, it's not really a normal thing here. You know, I know Take-A-Lot and that exists, but like ordering food and things online is still quite a new thing here. Yeah. So we're still in that change management kind of phase.
Well, look, all businesses are in the game of behavioral change, right? I mean, I see it in every business I interview here, and I know just from my own experience as someone who's been involved in separate industries, behavioral change is very difficult. And I think in South Africa, we struggle with an additional issue being that we're quite confined here. So we're not necessarily, even though we're in Africa, we don't really look to our African neighbors for insight or innovation. It's kind of us here and we're isolated. And so we're really good in some instances and we're really slow in others. And that's what makes entrepreneurship so difficult. And then our markets are quite small at a time. I assume that you're fighting multiple challenges with different markets. One that, although I understand that the vegan side of the world is growing naturally, but then you're talking about people who maybe have the money for these types of products and so forth. It's still quite small. So businesses are in for it when they're in the game of behavioral change. And that's where I think the consistency, you have to play that like really long-term game. So this is your camera over here. And what I want to do is I want to ask you about a business lesson that you've learned in the last year, and I would love for you to share it there. And if not that, just a general parting thought, not necessarily connected to business. And then please let everybody know how they can get hold of you.
A business lesson.
Yeah.
I guess it would just be to plan ahead a little bit. But it's a bit of both, I guess. You've got to adapt and you've got to try and think ahead of the game, I guess. You know, it's very difficult to try and to think on your feet all the time. It's exhausting, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because there's only so many of us working in the business. So we don't have these huge teams to count on. So it's if that's a little bit of a lesson or something that we're going through currently, that would be it. And you can find us on www.veganthings.co.za.
Well, look, I really want to just encourage you that anytime someone has a go at something new-ish, you are blazing the path, so to speak, and then it does get easier for people to then fall in the slipstream and follow. And that's why sometimes it's difficult either being the first or one of the first. But it is definitely a consistency thing combined with value creation constantly. And what is valuable to whom is constantly shifting. I think that's what makes it so, you mentioned, it's so interesting to me that there's a behavior when people are all at home and then that behavior shifts like this. It could be in a day when Cyril and
literally is that quick.
Says, okay, we're moving here now. Or that's how quickly
and
these
people are
things
fatigued. We're tired of being at home. So I remember being excited to go shopping. So I can understand it. And you've got to be on top of it like that all the time, you know, because these are customers you're talking to.
But you guys are doing a great
people
thing.
Like me.
You're doing a great thing. And it really is just about staying dead committed to the cause. And we need more of that. So well done for what you've done. Best of luck going forward. And we'll definitely have you back here for round 2.
Yay, thank you. Thank you for having me.